Dr. Michelle DuPre, a former medical examiner, retired forensic pathologist, and former law enforcement officer who's been poring over these documents with the rest of us. Dr. DuPre, it's nice to see you. Appreciate you coming on tonight. First of all, I want to ask you about this new information that we just got from Steve Gonsalves in Ashleigh's podcast, where he talked about a rounded object with stripes, thinking that that may have been a second weapon used. What do you make of that?
I think it could be a couple of things. I guess it's possible that it could be something like brass knuckles. It could also be, if the knife was still in the sheath, sort of a rounded or banded handle on the sheath of the knife. And if it was there and he took that to strike her on the mouth, it may be something like that. Or it could be an entirely different object. But it does sound like it is not just the knife itself.
Was there any evidence that you saw that shows, and this is what we've heard for a while, that the victims tried to fight back?
Definitely, Xana did. We know that most of her injuries were defensive wounds, and she was stabbed the most 50 or more times. I don't see anything that is actually described in the reports of defensive injuries on the other students that were there, but there may have been some. It just may not be in the report that I read.
I mean, stabbed 50 or more times, Dr. DuPre, and that's just one of them. I'm just thinking about the energy that that would take. I mean, have you ever seen a case like this where 4 people were killed that quickly, that many stab wounds? It's just sort of hard to wrap your mind around how it all went down.
I have not seen a case quite like this. I've had many stab wound cases. But not so many times and not with so many people in such close proximity. So this was what I would call almost a blitz attack, where he came in, he did this very quickly. He was obviously filled with a lot of rage. There was a lot of force, a lot of anger, and this happened very quickly.
Do you think there was anything that could have been done to save these kids? I mean, if in some way help had been there right away, or do you think it was just so brutal and he made sure to just, you know, finish the job, basically?
I think it was so fast. I think it was so brutal. I don't really think that if anything had been called in earlier, I don't think it would have helped. I think he was too much rage, too fast, and too determined to kill these 4 people.
And just back to all of the stab wounds, I just think about the exertion that would take, Dr. DuPre. I mean, wouldn't he have just been exhausted? I mean, do you think that's why he left and why there are survivors here? Because it seems like to do that, it would take a lot out of you.
Absolutely, and I think you're absolutely right. I think he was on such a high adrenaline rush or whatever he may have been on, that he was so enraged that once this was done, he would actually come down and crash, but not necessarily immediately. He may still have been on this adrenaline high until he went someplace else and finally calmed down. But yes, he would be very tired after this.
And what Steve said in that interview with Ashleigh about the, I think he said the blood pooling in the stomach, I think is what he said, and that's how they know that she sat up. They can actually, I guess they can figure that stuff out during the autopsy?
Well, yes, from the scene itself and from the autopsy. We look at the scene to see what, if the blood is coagulated or dried or not. And then once, of course, we do the autopsy, we can tell a lot more.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Well, Dr. DuPre, we appreciate you coming on with us tonight. Nice to see you again.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.